It's absolutely wonderful to be speaking about ideal weight when we think about starting any day, or when we start any month, or when we start any year. It's always good to check in with ourselves. And one of the things that this program does, this is ideal weight. There's session A and session B. Session A we talked about yesterday has to do with your relationship to yourself, your body image, the way you speak to yourself, how you view yourself when you look at yourself in a mirror, and all of that. The second part of this program today, session B, is about your relationship with food and how you consume the food to nourish your body. Now, the body absolutely knows what's necessary for you to be able to keep and maintain your ideal weight on an ongoing basis for all the rest of your life. When I got to my 40s, for example, I noticed that although I had fluctuated 1.5 pounds above and below my ideal weight for years and years and years, over the last couple of years prior to my age 40, I had put on some weight. And every year I notice a little bit more, a little bit more. Well, what was happening is my metabolism was slowing. I wasn't as physically active as I had been in my 20s and 30s. And so my needs had changed, but my habits had not. And what ideal weight session B enables you to do is shift your habits in the direction of what it is you're choosing for ideal weight, ideal health, ideal activity level, ideal size and shape of your body. So what this session does is there are a couple of very important and interesting concepts. One is that you're creating what we call a mental workshop, a place that you can go where you've got the control systems for everything in your physical body. Excuse me. And you can imagine and see on the screen in front of you how your day is going to go and how you would like to be able to relate to the food that you're going to consume. One of the things that I talk about in session B is when you take a bite of food, that you really concentrate on it and you experience it. You see, if you were to have a gourmet meal prepared by the greatest chef, and you heat it up in a microwave and watch a movie on TV while you're consuming it, you're not going to have the experience of pleasure that food really brings. Food is pleasurable. And so what we want to do is we want to bring our focus, our concentration to that process of eating. Even if you're very busy, as long as you're going to be consuming food, take a moment, pause, relax, decide how this food is going to go in your body. What many people do is they place their hands around it, sending their energy into the food so that when it comes into the physical body, it goes to where you want it to go. People have silly affirmations that they give themselves. They say, oh, I can put on 5 pounds just by walking past a bakery. Well, those sorts of statements are taken very literally for the body mind. So we want to make sure that when we're consuming food, we're doing it with consciousness, with intention, and with purpose. The purpose is to nourish ourselves so we can have a high level of well-being. Well-being being on a scale from 0 to 10 versus illness, which is on a scale of 0 to -10. The absence of illness isn't really a high level wellness. So let's talk about what is the high level wellness that you would like to create in your body. And when you sit to nourish yourself with that intentionality, very powerful results take place. Another thing that this session does is it helps you visualize that when you take a bite of food and you chew it, you really let it spend time in your mouth. One of the ways the yogis taught me is they said, hey, the stomach doesn't have any teeth. What we want to do is we want to break up the physical mass of that food. Every time we chew it and split it, we've now increased the surface area. It's surface area that makes all the difference. Once it gets into the digestive system, it's the extraction of the nutrients that takes place, and that's going to be made easier when there's more surface area for that extraction to take place. If you're bolting your food, eating to fill your stomach rather than to nourish your body, you're actually going to end up not nourishing yourself as much, even though you're consuming more food. So taking time, these are some of the ideas that are woven into the left ear, which is going into the visualizing part of the right hemisphere of the brain. Another thing that happens during this paraliminal is I have you imagine two guides, a male and a female guide. The male guide stands more to your left, female guide stands more to your right. Now, people have often said, I hear you talking about guides. Is that like spiritual entities? No. It's the two hemispheres of your brain, the masculine and feminine dimensions of your own psychological makeup. And so by having your whole brain there, the left part, which kind of sets the goal, and the right part, which finds the best ways and means to achieve the goal, are both present and both making the decision of how you would like this day to go. And the final concept I'd like to share with you about this session is it gives you a safe space to have an honest communication with yourself. You see, all transformation in our lives depends on facing or surfacing, bringing to the surface any disorienting dilemma that may be going on, creating a safe space in which you can explore it, and then challenging the assumptions upon which your current behaviors are based. And so by creating a safe space for honestly looking at and challenging some of the habits, some of the ways of thinking, some of the manners in which you're speaking to yourself or behaving during the day, these get a chance to be examined. And in a relaxed state of alertness, you can become present to what's trying to emerge in your life. So to tell you a personal anecdote, when I was getting to the age 60, I realized, as one person had mentioned, I ate like a teenager. I ate whatever I wanted. Pizza was a favorite food. Hamburger and French fries, no problem. Now, I'd been vegan and vegetarian through my life. I'd done a lot of different things, but generally speaking, I could eat like a teenager and adolescent very easily. And I realized that's not a good strategy for me going forward. I want to establish a way of eating that's going to serve me for all the rest of my life. And that's when I encountered the idea of a paleo diet. And that met my needs. Not only did it help me lose weight, I went from 181 pounds down to 154 pounds, but I've been able to maintain my ideal weight, which is around 158, 161, somewhere in that vicinity. For my body, it's my fighting weight. So it was when I established that goal that I got access to additional information. I was able to challenge some of the assumptions that I had. And because I created a safe space for examining it, I didn't have any shaming going on around me. Now, yesterday's session on Ideal Weight A helps you get away from any of that kind of body shaming that may go on. But also session B really says, hey, whatever's gone on up until now, here is the opportunity to establish a way to live forward in your life the way you would like it to go. So Taken together, session A, relationship to yourself, session B, relationship to food. This session is really good to use, especially when you're coming up to a party, a big event, a holiday of some kind, where you know there's going to be those foods that are challenging for you, the ones that have a tendency to influence you negatively. And so what we're interested in doing is establishing ahead of time, how is it I'm going to eat? And you can actually visualize with two screens in front of your mind, one way, the way it used to always be in the past, and the way now that you would like to be able to eat. And when those two are together in your consciousness, the mind naturally finds the path of least resistance, which is toward a lighter, freer way of living, eating, nourishing yourself. So that these protocols are all built in to the Ideal Weight Paraliminal. It's a great one to listen to. I'd encourage you to listen to it once a week, as we are for this month, but also going forward in the year until you have reached and are maintaining your ideal weight on an ongoing basis. Well, have a wonderful and nourishing day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks very much for being a part of our sessions. Bye for now.